Bearcats are 2-1 overall, 0-1 in the American Athletic Conference. And do we have Coach Tuberville on the line?
I'm waiting.
All right.
Hello.
We've been joined by Coach Tommy Tuberville from Cincinnati. The Bearcats are 2-1 overall, 0-1 in the American Athletic Conference. Cincinnati was in action this past Saturday against Miami of Ohio. Cincinnati won the game 37-33. Up next for Cincinnati will be a short week. The Bearcats take on Memphis Thursday on the road. That will be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time start on ESPN. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call this morning. Can you take a minute to tie up the win against Miami of Ohio and tell us what you expect to see as you get right back in the swing of things Thursday at Memphis, please?
Yeah, it's good to have a win over our closest rival. It's been a rival game for, I guess, 100-something years, and we won it this past week for the 10th straight time, which was it's a hard feat. We had some good things happen. We had some things that we have to straighten out. It was a hard-fought game on both sides. Had a few injuries, but looking forward to get back into practice field today. We have a short week playing our second conference game against Memphis in Memphis on Thursday night, and we're excited about another challenge. We've got some tough games coming up, and this is just the first of many. Thank you.
We'll take questions for Coach Tuberville, please. *1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
And we'll go to Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning.
Hayden Moore in this past game for you, obviously having to step in with Gunnar going out. Just what you can say about his play. I know that he struggled with turnovers, but just what you saw out of Hayden when looking back at that film moving forward.
Yeah, when you move into the starting quarterback role like he had to in the middle of a tough game, had to bring us back and score. Now he made some crucial mistakes, 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles in a 15-minute span. And, he was nervous, obviously, redshirt freshman. I thought other than the plays that were obviously detrimental to what we were trying to do, other than that, I thought he made good decisions. He was cool and calm. I think a lot of it had to do with the rhythm of throwing the football, had a lot to do with Miami of Ohio, and had a lot to do with our other running backs that fumbled the ball on our handoff. So we can work on those this week. He's going to be getting a lot of reps, and I think when you move up to a starting position, it gives you an opportunity to really look at film and understand what you've got to do and what you've got to ask of yourself going into the game. So should be interesting, but I'm proud of him making that last drive because he made some crucial throws to put us ahead with a little over a minute to go in the game when we hadn't done a whole lot for the past quarter and a half.
When he comes out of that game and you get an opportunity to speak with him or, he's looked at film so far, how did you see him respond to his first opportunity out there? What type of conversation have you had, or how did you kind of view him after the fact when you got a chance to talk with him?
The biggest thing, you sat down with a quarterback that hadn't played a whole lot. Now, I did play him about a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters in the first game against Alabama A&M. He didn't have a lot of pressure, obviously. But the big thing that, as you sat down and as we've watched film with him, Darren Henshaw, myself, Eddie Gran, is put yourself in a position where you don't have to make every play. You don't have to make every perfect throw. But you do. It is a thinking man's game in our offense and also in college football. You just don't go out there and just use athletic ability. You've got to make sure that you're doing things right. Don't get ahead of yourself. It's all about timing. I think the things that he can look back on the 4 crucial mistakes was pretty much he was rushing things, trying to do too much instead of taking what they gave you. And so he learned a lot out of those 4 plays. Now, he threw some very good passes, and I think started as the game kept on, he kept getting stronger and stronger and more confidence. Playing in conference games coming up, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But again, now he knows that the situation at hand, and he's got to make plays, and again, he's got to use the players around him.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
We'll go next to Tom Gresham with Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah, hi, Coach. What can you tell us about Gunner's status? You expect him to practice? Expect him to start, or how is he doing? Obviously, there's a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, and Gunner's he took a good lick, and so we're not going to rush anything. We're going to make sure that going into each and every practice as any player we do. If they've had any problem from shoulders up, then he's going to be evaluated. He'll be evaluated today, but a lot of it's on him. How he feels, and I'm not going to push anything. It's every quarterback to me has to be almost 100% physically and mentally, and so we'll feel good about Hayden, and he's a guy that's he's been practicing, and you got to play at every position almost. You play two guys at each position, and so it's not any different. We went over a couple of years ago to Memphis, and they were playing a brand new quarterback, the guy that's playing quarterback now. So you got to get start somewhere, but he'll be evaluated daily as we go. I'm not going to predict anything one way or the other. Again, I let the doctors handle all that. I'm a physical education major, and that goes about as far as it goes when it comes to taping ankles and all those things. So I'll let our doctors make a decision on that, along with Gunner and his parents.
Do you could you update us briefly on the other? You got several injuries, obviously. Whitty, Boone, McKay, people like that. Can you just a quick update on that?
Whitty is operated on as we speak. He broke his ankle, and it's one of those things that I just hate it for him. The kids fought hard, and it was just a freak deal. It happened, but we'll have to go on, and he'll be back on the practice field in his normal position as he was last year as coach, and he'll be a big help to all of our young guys in the secondary that are playing, because he's played almost every position. We held out Leviticus Payne and Ladarius Ray, Mikael McKay. We held out several guys, and we'll have to see how they are, as we go in. Mike Boone could have come in last week. He's had an ankle all year long, and he's up and down. He played awfully well, and he's going to play like that all year long. Ankles don't get well during football season. Once you hurt it, you just got to push through it, and knowing that you're not going to be 100%, but he's a tough kid, and he played last week and the week before with about the same thing. So we'll be closer to 100% than we probably have all year long. But again, losing Whitty was big for us, and but again, guys have to step up, and of course, Gunner being lost, Hayden's had to step up, so people have to play. I mean, that's the reason you have 85 on your team.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll go next to Joey Johnson with Tampa Tribune.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm sure in your career you've seen every kind of season unfold every kind of way, and we all know how long these seasons are, ups and downs all along. But when you have a season that there are some expectations and you get off to a slow start and it's not a great September, how do you push through that? Have you had experience with that and kind of been able to turn it around when the losses come and the fans are jumping off the bandwagon, and how do you kind of weather that when it doesn't start well?
Yeah, well, again, I tell all my young brethren in the profession that I'm in that you listen to nothing and you read nothing, because they're going to say good things about you when you're doing good, and nothing's ever positive when it's bad. You just want to keep an even keel and understand that when you start the season, you want to try to get better every week. Sometimes you get knocked back by either a loss or by injuries, and again, that's the reason football is such a great sport. There's a lot of people involved. Somebody's got to step up, and so I don't go outside that realm. I stay within the team, people within the team, because they're the ones that's going to celebrate with you and suffer with you as you go through tough times. And there's always tough times. You look at college football, it's becoming more and more of a hit and miss every week. Teams are, they just don't perform as consistent as they used to because of numbers of scholarships and just because of the times that we're in. But it's just I enjoy season because there are ups and downs. You just hope you have more ups than you do downs. But I've been on both sides, and everybody loves a winner, and when you're down, everybody likes to talk about it, and everybody has the answers. But we're always looking for the answers, whether it's to improvement or whether to get back up off the ground and go again.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Tom Schad with the Memphis Commercial Appeal.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
How you doing?
Not too bad. So I'm curious, how have you seen in kind of studying Memphis, how have you seen Paxton Lynch grow, I guess, since the last time you faced him, and what's going to be the key to stopping him and slowing down the offense as a whole?
Well, you don't stop them. You try to control them. Coach Fuente's done an excellent job. This is not the Memphis of years past. This is a good football team, and they play with confidence. And so, when you go play, you've got to do the same thing. You've got to play with confidence. You can't give up big plays on defense. You've got to keep up on offense. You've got to, and again, we're at a disadvantage. We're going on the road. And last time we were there, I thought we had a little bit more experience than they did. They're starting a new quarterback. And I've seen this kid grow now. He's grown. He's a very good quarterback. He's one of the better ones I've seen this year in football. And we've played so many late games this year. I've seen a lot of football games. But this kid's big. He's strong. He can run. Got touch on the ball, throw the deep ball well. And they do a good job with him. They've really coached him well. So he's got good people around him. The sky's the limit for this kid. But just because of his demeanor, but also, God blessed him with a frame and the size of a quarterback that everybody would dream to have. So, we got to face him, and it is what it is. Our guys love a challenge, and it'll be a huge challenge for us.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go next to Dick Weiss with American Athletic Conference.
Yeah, hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Can you talk about the league itself? It seems to be becoming more offensive-minded again, the way it was a couple of years ago.
That's all of college football. You still got some guys out there that like the 3-yard cloud of dust, but it's just hard to find those. It's hard to find those type of players in high school. Everybody's going to the short passing game, the misdirection, all the formations. Putting all kind of speed on the field. I think it's great. I think it's really helped high school and college football. Will it go to the next level? It looks like they've tried to, but I tell you, the defenses are so good in the NFL. I don't know whether it goes that next step, but for our level, you're just seeing all these points scored. The big plays. You see more trick plays. You see more people involved. It's not just one receiver. It's not just one running back. It's a unique situation of what I've seen in my lifetime as a college and high school coach. But again, I think it's really amped up the viewership, people watching, people going to the games. It's fun. I remember the days of the 4 backs in the backfield running the wishbone when, games lasted about 2.5 hours, and if you had 50 plays on offense and defense, that was a lot of plays. But there's a lot of good from it. Again, I think we've gotten a lot of kids back out in football on the high school level, in which that's going to help college. Kids are coming out; they see more fun into it, but it is a challenge. Being an old defensive coach, now trying to stop a lot of these offenses that we see each week. It's a different problem. It's different type of personnel. There's no consistency. In NFL, everybody runs the same plays. Everybody runs the same formations. In college football, every week is like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get every week. So that's made it fun. I'm really enjoying it. And, you're winning a game now. Some teams are winning 55-49. I mean, who would have ever thought? But I think it's really helped college football, but it hadn't done a whole lot for defense, I'll tell you that.
That's great. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
And time for one more for Coach Tuberville, please.
We'll take our final question for the coach from Rob Fisher of Sports 56 Memphis.
Hey, Coach.
Do you see much different from the Tigers than what you saw a year ago?
Of course, we go back several years and look at every game, every team in our conference plays in the summertime. There's some not glaring differences. You can tell a maturity level of the team of making plays. Like last week, for instance, some teams on the road, like Memphis, they get out there and they get ahead, they get behind, they get ahead, they get behind, then they get behind again. And, it's just I've seen a maturity of Justin's team over the years of how they handle what they do. And, there was no panic in them last week. They came back and won the ball game at the end on the road. It is hard to win a college football game on the road. It's very hard, especially when you get down. They were playing a good football team last week. So I just say the thing that I've noticed is a maturation of the team. They play very well on both sides of the ball. Their special teams are good. They're good college football, not a good, they got a lot of, they obviously can improve. Everybody can. But I've been impressed with how they played, not just now, but since we played them in Memphis 3 years ago. They've stuck with what they do, and they do it right. And they're just going to keep executing. And again, it's a fun team to watch. They do a lot of stuff.
Coach, we thank you for your time today. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday. And that was Coach Tommy Tuberville from